Good morning everyone. My name is Abhay Singh and I welcome you all in today's video analysis of The Hindu. Today is 26th of June 2024 and we will start with the first news headline for the day. And the first news headline for the day is that the Lok Sabha to witness rare contest for speaker's post. So let's start this particular news. So NDA government and India bloc failed to arrive at consensus candidate. Opposition field 8-term MP Koti Kunil Suresh of the Congress against NDA's Om Birla. The 18th Lok Sabha is all set to witness a rare contest for the Speaker's post on Wednesday between Om Birla of Bharatiya Janata Party and K. Suresh of the Congress after National Democratic Alliance government and the India bloc failed to arrive at consensus. On Tuesday, Congress leader K.C. Venugopal and DMK's Tia Balu from the opposition and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, Home Minister Amit Shah and Health Minister J.P. Nadda had met at Mr. Singh's office in Parliament to evolve a consensus. However, with both sides sticking to their position, the two opposition leaders walked out. Now, this is one very important news because for a long time there used to be no election for the post of Speaker of the Lok Sabha, but after the 18th Lok Sabha elections, both the political parties, or we can say the both the political alliance NDA and India bloc, failed to arrive at a consensus for the post of Speaker of Lok Sabha. That's why there is going to be an election. NDA has fielded Mr. Om Birla for the post of Speaker of Lok Sabha, whereas India bloc has fielded K. Suresh for the post of Speaker of Lok Sabha. So this is one news headline for the day, and another important news headline for the day is that Rahul Gandhi is going to be the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha. Now moving on to the next important news headline for the day, and next important news headline for the day is that the Delhi High Court has stays bail granted to Kejriwal. So the Delhi High Court on Tuesday imposed a stay on the bail or stay on the regular bail granted to the Chief Minister of New Delhi, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. This bail was given by a trial court on which Delhi High Court has given a stay order. Now moving on to the next important news headline for the day. So next important news headline for the day is that Moscow is preparing for likely visit by Modi, says Putin aide. So basically, Russia is saying that there will be a visit by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. There will be a visit by Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Russia, and Russia has started preparing for the same. Now moving on to the next important headline for the day, and next important headline for the day is that the UP cabinet has clears ordinance. UP cabinet clears ordinance to curb exam paper leaks. Now, so recent cases of paper leaks has uh, forced or not forced, or has given given a chance to the Uttar Pradesh cabinet that there has cleared our ordinance. So what is this particular ordinance? The Uttar Pradesh cabinet on Tuesday cleared an ordinance to prevent question paper leaks and use of unauthorized means in exams, awarding jail term of 2 years to life imprisonment and fines up to rupees 1 crore. So basically, what the Uttar Pradesh government has done, they have basically passed an ordinance, they cleared an ordinance to curb the exam paper leaks. And what are the special provisions of that particular? What are the special provisions of that particular ordinance? That there will be a jail term of from 2 years to life imprisonments and a fine of up to rupees 1 crore. So basically, this move comes after the recent paper leaks of this UP constable examination and then ARO examination. The paper of both the examinations were leaked. So after after these papers were leaked in the month of February, the UP cabinet has cleared an ordinance to curb the exam paper leaks. Now, the another important and another historic come revolutionary news is coming from Madhya Pradesh. And what happened in Madhya Pradesh is that till date, from 1972 onwards till 2024, the government of Madhya Pradesh used to pay taxes for the members of legislative assembly who were elected member of legislative assembly. There was this rule that they don't have to pay the taxes from their income. The state government used to pay the taxes on the behalf of member of legislative member of legislative assemblies. Now, the Madhya Pradesh cabinet on Tuesday decided that the ministers will now pay their income tax instead of the state government bearing the burden. Chief Minister Mohan Yadav, in a statement, said the cabinet has taken a decision to strike off the 1972 rule under which the state government was paying the income tax on the salaries and perks of ministers. Now, this is one important news, and this is a kind of historic change that we are witnessing. That till date from 1972, the state government used to pay taxes on the behalf of member of legislative assembly. These taxes were not on the behalf of member of legislative assembly, but actually what used to happen is that uh, the taxes were paid out from the exchequers of the state revenues. So basically, the taxes were paid out of the revenue of the state government, and member of legislative assemblies does not have to pay any taxes. So the new chief minister of Madhya Pradesh, Mr. Mohanlal Yadav, has removed this particular rule. This is one historic rule that will be remembered for a long time, and each and every state which does not have this rule should adopt or should opt out for this particular rule. Now, moving on to the next important news headline for the day. Next new important news headline is that after 20 years of resistance to reservation of seats for women, Nagaland to vote in civic polls today. So after a long period of 2 decades, after a period of 20 years, Nagaland is going to witness the urban local body polls elections. Urban local body polls में elections नागालैंड में हो रहे हैं 20 years के बाद में. This is one important news, and another important news is that these elections are happening after the reservation was given to the women. 33% reservation was given to the women in Nagaland, and after giving that reservation for the first time, these elections in the urban local body polls are going to take place. Now moving on to the next important news headline for the day. So this was the hunger strike by the member of Legislative Assembly, and she's also the minister, Mrs. Atishi. So this particular strike is, ended up in the hospital because she fell ill because of the hunger strike. So she was admitted into the hospital. So this strike ended. Now, there's important news headline coming from the Pune, and what is this important news headline? That we all know about the Porsche car crash that took place in Pune. Now, the High Court has ordered the release of juvenile accused because of the one thing the bench observed that the custody order passed by the Juvenile Justice Board was illegal and issued without the jurisdiction. So basically, what High Court had said in the release order, that the Juvenile Justice Board or the JJ Board was illegal and issued the order without the jurisdiction. So this is one important news headline from the Pune, that the main accused was granted the bail, or his release has been assured by the High Court of Maharashtra, High Court of Bombay High Court. So the Bombay High Court on Tuesday ordered the release of a 17-year-old accused in the Pune luxury car accident case that killed two young IT professionals. The court declared that the remand order illegal and were set aside. So basically, the High Court has set aside the remand order, and basically in declaring those remand order illegal, the High Court of Bombay has stated that those orders were illegal. Juvenile Justice Board that was illegal, and Juvenile Justice Board has issued those orders without any jurisdiction. On the same reasoning, the High Court has cancelled the bail order of the Pune car crash accused. Now moving on to the next important headline. Two more arrested in Arang lynching case, not important for us to understand. Now moving on. Ahead of the rollout of the new criminal laws, Union Ministry takes e-Saksha app. Union Ministry test e-Saksha app. So basically, we all know that the three new criminal laws are coming into existence. And what are those three criminal laws? Indian Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam, and Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita. Basically Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita is replacing Indian Penal Code. Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita is replacing Criminal Procedure Code, and Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam is replacing Indian Evidence Act. Now, days ahead of the implementation of the three criminal laws, the Union Ministry of Home Affairs is testing eSaksha, a mobile phone application to help police record scene of crime, search and seizure in a criminal case, and upload the file on the cloud-based platform. So basically, what's happening is that basically Ministry of Home Affairs is testing a particular app which is known as eSaksha app. And what will be the main task of eSaksha app? It will help the police officers in recording crime scenes and search and seizures in a criminal database, and they can upload that particular file on a cloud-based platform. the police officials will have to upload a selfie after the procedure is complete. So basically, the person who is conducting the procedure has to upload his selfie at the end of the procedures just to make sure that who has made that particular recording. Each recording could be a maximum of 4 minutes, 4 minute long, and several such files could be uploaded for each FIR. So basically, you can upload a recording on that particular cloud-based platform. The maximum duration of any video can be 4 minutes, and you can upload multiple videos for a single first information report, that is FIR. Now we have to understand one thing, that three new criminal laws are coming, and these three criminal laws will come into force from July 1, 2024. So we have to keep this thing in our mind, that the new criminal laws will be enforced from 1st of July 2024. And what are those three criminal laws? The Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, and Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam. Now moving on. From the first Lok Sabha to the 18th Lok Sabha, a snapshot of speakers election. So we will first look into the first elections which took place in 1952 for the post of Speaker of Lok Sabha. Then we will directly come up into the 18th Lok Sabha. So now Lok Sabha Secretariat, the first time an election for the Speaker's post took place was in the first Lok Sabha of 1952 when G.V. Malvalankar defeated Shantaraman More. So this is one important headline for the day, that there is going to be the election for the post of Speaker of Lok Sabha, and we will try to cover the history from the first speaker to the 18th speaker elections. Now, the first Lok Sabha speaker of the Free India, or the first Lok Sabha speaker of the independent India, was Mr. G.V. Mavlankar, Mr. G.V. Mavlankar, and Mr. G.V. Mavlankar defeated Shantaram More in 1952 to secure the post of Speaker of Lok Sabha. Now, during the 18th Lok Sabha elections, there was no consensus between the two alliance group, that is NDA and India Bloc. There was no consensus between India Bloc and NDA. So, because of the same reason, there is going to be election for the post of Speaker of Lok Sabha. NDA has fielded Mr. Om Birla for the post of Speaker of Lok Sabha, while as India Bloc has fielded K. Suresh for the post of Speaker of Lok Sabha. So this is one important news, and these elections are going to be very interesting. And there are rumors also that the India bloc was demanding for the post of deputy. India bloc was demanding the post of deputy speaker, but NDA was reluctant in giving that particular post. That's why there is going to be elections for the post of Speaker of Lok Sabha. Now moving on. So basically, a day after convening the first meeting of the National Testing Agency Reform Committee, K. Radha Krishnan. So this is one important news that we have to understand, that who is the head of the Reform Committee of India. So the committee will be headed by Mr. K. Radha Krishnan, who is also the former ISRO chairman. He said that the first priority was to elicit from students and parents across the country their concerns and suggestions regarding the recent instances of paper leak that had compromised the NTA's integrity. So basically, the committee is asking the suggestions and the problems from the students and their parents regarding the recent mishaps which take place regarding the exams of NEET and NTA. Sorry, NEET and NET. So these two exams took place recently, and also the NEET PG exam, which was postponed just before the 12 hours of the exam. So we have to understand, we should know the name of the member who is heading this particular committee. So the name of the member is K. Radha Krishnan, and also Mr. Jaishankar, who is our external affairs minister, is meeting Chinese ambassador Su Fiong. Now moving on. Now, the 350th contract under the Innovation of Defense Excellence IDEX flagship initiative of the Defense Ministry was signed with Space Pixel Technologies for the design and development of a miniaturized satellite capable of carrying electro-optical, infrared, synthetic aperture radar, and hyperspectral payloads of up to 150 kg. So basically, Ministry of Defense has signed a 350th contract under the IDEX flagship initiative. This particular initiative is of Ministry of Defense, and this particular contract is signed for a miniaturized satellite. What is a miniaturized satellite? Is a very small satellite which can carry a payload of up to rupees a payload of up to 150 kg. Now moving on. The high-level security meet on Manipur convened by Union Home Minister Amit Shah in New Delhi on June 17, 2024 was loudly conspicuous by its exclusion of the Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh. It also grew light on the way of centre has been handling the violent ethnic clashes in Manipur between two of its major communities, the Meitei and Kuki-Zo tribes. There seems to be no signs of respite even after a year of blood letting. It seems to confirm the long-held suspicion that there has been an undeclared president's rule in the state, with the Manipur government having been placed in a virtual animated suspension. So basically, what's happening in Manipur, we all are aware about that. There, in last year, there was a violence. There was riots in the state of Manipur, and there have been a very reluctant approach, a very relaxed approach by the central government. Recently, there was a high-level committee. There was a high-level committee meeting in the Ministry of Home Affairs, and that particular meeting has excluded the Chief Minister of Manipur, Mr. N. Biren Singh. So we should understand one thing, that what is the importance of this particular meeting if the main stakeholder is not participating in that particular meeting, because the Chief Minister of Manipur, Mr. N. Biren Singh, did not participate in that particular meeting, or we can say that he was not invited to participate in that particular meeting. So somehow we can say that there was unsaid or the undeclared president rule in this state. Why? Because if there is no such rule, then why Chief Minister is not consulted before this particular meeting? Now, those invited for the meeting included Indian Army Chief Mr. Manoj Pandey, Army Chief Designate Lieutenant General Upendra Dwivedi, Union Home Secretary Ajay Kumar Bhalla, and Intelligence Bureau Director Tapan Kumar Deka. From the state were Director General of Police Manipur Rajiv Singh and the Security Advisor Kuldeep Singh. Both brought it from outside the state and appointed to the post on the wake of the outbreak of violence on May 3. So we have to understand one thing, that this particular meeting was called with a very, the very past objective, but we have to understand one thing, that there was not a single person from the state of Manipur. There were two police officials from the state of Manipur, Rajiv Singh, and the security advisor Kuldeep Singh. But both these people were brought outside from the state of Manipur, so there was zero participation of state of Manipur because Chief Minister was not present at the meeting. We don't know the exact reason for this. He might not be invited, and also the police officials which were representing the state of Manipur were not from Manipur. They were posted in the Manipur after the violence broke out. Now moving on, as the media columnist pointed out, also conspicuously absent were officers from Manipur's stakeholder communities. As the media columnist pointed out, also conspicuously absent were officers from Manipur's stakeholder communities. Considering that this meeting had quickly followed another one Mr. Shah had in New Delhi with the Manipur governor Anusuya UK, speculations were rife that this was a prelude to form an invocation of Article 365 to impose a spell of president's rule in the state. So basically, what's happening in the state of Manipur? There is a speculation in the state of Manipur that there is going to be a precedent rule in the state under Article 365 of the Indian Constitution. And why is that speculation? Because after this particular meeting, which was called in the state of Delhi, there was this meeting of Union Home Minister Mr. Amit Shah with the governor of Manipur, Anusuya Yuki. Anusuya Yuki. So after this meeting, there is a speculation that there is going to be a precedent rule in the state of Manipur. Now, this is only anticipation. There is no conclusion. So now we have to understand one thing. So we have to understand one thing, that the violence broke out in the 2023. Violence in the state of Manipur broke out last year, and there has been a significant development since then. But there has not been a iota of development in the civic situations of the state of Manipur, because no organization or no ministry or no department is paying heed to those particular events, what happened in the year 2023. Now, there were a lot of questions which are asked from the central government, but the central government is still answerless for the questions which are related to the Manipur. This particular this particular violence that broke out between these two communities, Meeti and Kukizo, it actually reflects the grim situation in the state of Manipur, because central government is so reluctant about the situation of Manipur that there was a meeting related to the just give me a minute. There was a meeting at the central level related to the violence which took place in Manipur, but the chief minister was not invited. So this is the kind of situation that we are dealing currently, and except these particular facts, there has been a lot of you know uh, history in this particular article, that what happened and how this particular event turned out. So we won't deal with it because in so many articles we have already covered all these things. So we will directly move on to the next important article. And next article is very important because this particular article is related to the national security strategy. Now, the new National Democratic Alliance government faces some thorny old problems in national security. It will have to make decisions or else continue to defer them on everything from whether to build another aircraft carrier to process of implementing theaterization to managing strategic relations with the United States and the competition with China. How will the coalition government with competing demands on the resources and attention make those decisions? Now, in the best of opinion is to step back and consider national security holistically. From first principle, it should not consider these reforms or that relationship in the piecemeal, haphazard way. They would risk wasting scarce resources and undermining national goals. It should instead commit to a new rubric for making these decisions and should commit to writing a national security strategy. So basically, India is framing its first national security strategy. This is basically a document. A national security strategy is a document which has everything which is related to the national security, and also national security strategy is a document which talks about how the national security can be achieved, how those objectives can be achieved, which are given in that particular document, which is known as national security strategy document. So basically, national security strategy documents tells you the ways in which the national security can be ensured. Given the situation, given the our recent, given the kind of relationship that we are sharing with our neighboring country, it is utmost importance for India to have a national security strategy because of our not so amicable relationship with not so amenable relationship with Bangladesh, sorry, Pakistan and China. Pakistan and China are a continuous are a continuous threat to our country, to our national security. Those are the reasons why we need a national security strategy. Now, what is a national security strategy and a blueprint for expanding powers under national security strategy? So, a regular and well-crafted national security strategy would give India five critical benefits that it crucially lacks, that it currently lacks. And what are those five benefits? First and logically foremost, it would force the government to undertake a comprehensive strategic assessment, a review of the country's threats and opportunities, and a stocktake of global security trends. Such a periodic review would force New Delhi to spotlight evolving challenges such as the growth of the Chinese Navy, even though it does not pose an urgent and lethal threat today. So basically, the first and the foremost important point is that we have to continuously review our country's strategic security policies because of the growing threats from the China and Pakistan. Although they are not any at this moment they are not any lethal threat from the China or Pakistan, but although again they are a threat, they can become a lethal threat at any point of time. So we have to continuously assess our security strategy from point to point. Second, it is also provide a coherent framework for our long-term planning. So basically, we can, if will be a strategy, or if there will be a strategy, then we can frame policies and rules for a long-term period. Strategic competition requires intense work in peacetime to conceptualize how best to secure India's expanding interest and clear its adversaries, and then to develop the requisite military capabilities and international partnerships. So we have to understand what are the needs of our national security. Then accordingly, we have to create our own. we have to create our own military capabilities, and we have to also develop our international relations with other countries. Now moving on. So these are the 5 points which are related to the national security strategy. Fourth, an NSS would create a mechanism to force various arms of the government to synchronize their efforts within the military, and NSS would give the integrated defense staff and future joint organization a clearer top-down mandate to better align the work of an Indian Army, Indian Force, and Indian Navy. So basically, uh, the efforts of all the three navies would be synchronized after the NSS would come into enforcement. So the integrated defense staff will help in securing, and there will be a clear flow of communication between these three wings of the Indian security: Indian Army, Indian Navy, and Indian Air Force. So this is also going to help India in a long run. And what are the issue of accountability related to the national security strategy? Finally, an NSS would introduce a novel accountability tool to ensure that the bureaucracy adheres to the political leadership's intent and the government policies are as transparent as possible to Parliament and the people. The citizens of India have a legitimate need to know how the government is planning to safeguard their national security and how well it is performing. Now, so basically, national security strategy is a novel tool. With this particular tool, there will be an accountability fixed on the political leaders, because they will directly frame the policies and they will directly make the rules which will safeguard the national security of our country. Now, moving on to the next important news headline for the day. Preventing another NEET fiasco. So basically, everybody is concerned about the NEET fiasco which happened recently, but nevertheless, this is a never-ending process in India. Every year, so many exam paper leaks, but government still fails to take any substantial steps. Now, moving on. So basically, India has offered a telecom spectrum worth about 96.238 thousand crore, $11.53 billion. So basically, 96,238 crore rupees of telecom spectrum is at auction, and Indian government is going to going for the auctions, and a total of 10 gigahertz of radio waves is up for sale in this auction, ranging between 800 megahertz to 20 gigahertz. So basically, a total of 10 gigahertz of waves is up for sale from 800 megahertz to 26 gigahertz. Now moving on. Indian in Italy protest to end slavery following workers' death. So basically, Indian workers are protesting in Italy to end the kind of slavery after a fellow worker was died. Now, so there was a security breach at the at the Parliament of Kenya, and there was 5 people who were shot dead by the security forces during that particular security breach. Now, International Criminal Court has issued a warrant for Russia's army chief and ex-minister and a former defense minister over strikes on Ukrainian infrastructure that constituted alleged war crimes. So basically, the International Criminal Court on Tuesday said it had issued arrest warrants for Russia's army chief and former defense minister over strikes on Ukrainian infrastructure that constituted alleged war crimes. So basically, the International Criminal Court had issued arrest warrant for the Russian army chief and ex-minister because of they were accused of war crimes. Now moving on. So basically, also Ukraine has begun formalities to become the member of European Union, and the formalities has started. But this final proposal will take a long time before Ukraine becomes a member of European Union. Although the formalities has begun, but this will going to take a lot of time. And this news is very important. This news tells us that कि कुछ भी हो जाए बस लगे रहना है. What happened is that Afghanistan has defeated Bangladesh yesterday, and a few days back, the boys from Afghanistan had defeated Australia. So now Australia is knocked out of the T20 World Cup, and India and Afghanistan has made it to top four. So this is one important news for us to understand that for the first time, Afghanistan has qualified for the semi-finals in any World Cup. This is happening for the first time. They have defeated they have defeated Bangladesh and Australia. So from Group 1, India and Afghanistan are going into the playoffs. Now moving on and going into the semi-finals. So except this, nothing more is important. Now this is chokers to diamond pendants. How South Africa has turned the tide. So basically, South Africa is also in the top four of this particular tournament. But again, South Africa has to perform brilliantly in the playoffs because they in the semifinals because they are facing the Afghanistan team in the semifinals. India is facing England in the semifinals. So with this we have completed the news analysis of the Hindu. Today is 26th of June 2024. So and I wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. अगर आप लोगों को कोई भी डाउट्स होते हैं तो प्लीज़ आप लोग कमेंट सेक्शन में पंच इन कर सकते हैं. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर अटेंडिंग टुडेज